Welcome to Inside the Force. I'm Greg Grunberg, a.k.a. Snap Wexley.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to another jam-packed episode.
Whoa.
As we dive into everything from that galaxy far, far away, we've got news of the movies, we've got news from the TV show, as well as a review of the latest Rebels episode, some comic talk, some book talk, all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of something, didn't you say a little bit of something you want to talk about on the novel side of it, right? So,
yeah.
Very interesting stuff.
Okay.
Very good stuff. But we'll dive right in. And of course, I guess the big news that you'll hit up here very shortly. So let's get right into it.
Well, with movies, episode 7, the Blu-ray, 3D Blu-ray is coming out next Tuesday, November 15th.
Yes.
And what's so great about this is that it's featuring the audio commentary from J.J. Abrams himself.
I guess I'm going to get it. I don't have 3D.
No, but you'll still be able to hear the commentary, I think, on the...
Is it just the 3D or is it
I don't think
2D and the 3D?
Yeah, it's a combo.
It's a combo.
Sure. Yeah, pretty sure.
So they're making me rebuy it.
Yeah, basically. I mean, yeah. If there's a way I can just get the commentary, that's all I want.
Yeah, I can't believe the commentary wasn't on there.
Like on iTunes, if I can just buy that off iTunes or something.
Oh, you probably could. Maybe. Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see. Maybe. No. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
So that's happening. I also read, I don't think we talked about this. Read this the other day. Just a quick little thing about Abrams talking about the relationship between Kylo Ren and Rey. Basically saying that Kylo does not know who Rey is. Like, he's never met her before, essentially.
Right.
Almost alluding to the fact, though, that he's heard of her.
Yes.
But he doesn't actually, he's never seen her before.
Yeah, which I think has been somewhat concluded in the novel, right?
Right. But the novel almost made it sound like, almost like he had seen her. Like he saw her as a little girl or something like that. But that's kind of what I was thinking.
I think it felt like he at least heard of her.
Yeah.
Knew about her because the line is, "It is you."
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So I think it's the person that he had heard about or was told about or something like that, maybe. I don't know.
So that
would have been neat if he would have said that in the movie, though.
Yeah. Oh, it's you.
Yeah.
What? And also, Daisy Ridley says that we will find out Rey's heritage in episode 8. Heritage. Whatever.
Yes, parentage.
So that will be fun. Got, almost a little over a year
Let the
away.
speculation keep going. Well, and he said that was the first time that she had seen Leia, and Leia had not.
Right.
Doesn't know who she was.
Right.
So all those theories of her being her daughter, gone.
Yeah. Episode 8 stuff. Nothing really new going on with episode 8. Unless you've heard of something. I haven't really.
I'm kind of avoiding anything. Every time I see something episode 8, I'm not doing that until after Rogue One.
Okay.
I'm not doing any episode 8. So yeah.
All Quiet on the Han Solo front as well.
Yeah.
But Alden Ehrenreich is in a new movie. If you want to get a glimpse of his acting chops, it's called something about rules, like There Are No Rules or something. I don't know. It's about Howard Hughes' like assistant or something like that. Rules Don't Apply, I think is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
But he's pretty cool. I saw him in Hail Caesar, and he's pretty good. So, big news now. Rogue One is what we're all waiting for. Almost a month away. don't know if America
Almost literally.
realizes this.
Yeah, I
we're
know.
almost a month away, people. It's been so fast. It's
Yes.
been so fast.
I know, almost a year since
Yeah.
we saw episode 7.
Oh man! So today was no tickets still. I've been hearing that's end of the month, 25th maybe, so something like that, Thanksgiving time, which is fine, I suppose. But today, November 10th, is when we're recording this, was a very nice surprise gift of a new trailer, and I'm sure everybody else has already seen this. International trailer number 2 of Rogue One, featuring a lot of new shots, some new dialogue, little bit, I mean, not really a spoiler, I guess somewhat spoiler in a way, little things with the story, little things happening along the way that we'll talk about. Clocks in a little over 2 minutes long. A very meaty trailer.
Yes.
It's got a lot of new stuff, quick like action shots, but also a lot of the similar stuff, and kind of like dialogue that we've already heard across a couple different spots put together with some new dialogue. One of the big pieces of dialogue is actually mentioning Death Star by name, which I thought was pretty cool. They actually know what it's called. But what did you think?
I look, this felt to me like the first trailer, not the teaser, but the first full trailer. Because in America we've gotten a teaser and 2 full trailers, right?
Right.
So the first full trailer, which was the middle one, the second one, it felt like that, just different shots,
Yeah.
a little more dialogue, but still strictly focusing on just the rebellion part, right? Just the plans. But basically, this one flat out tells you exactly what they're going to do, right?
Yeah.
And I was actually a little surprised that they got the name of the battle station already,
Death
right?
Star.
I
It says it right there in the plans. I don't know. Or yeah.
Look, the plans say
Yeah.
Death Star.
Yeah.
No, because I was somewhat thinking that they didn't know a name for it yet. For some reason, I don't know. Because they don't say Death Star ever in the prequels,
No, I mean,
and
they say it in New Hope, right? I mean, I'll be honest.
In A New Hope,
I can't recall when they actually say it. I feel embarrassed to say this.
in the New Hope,
Like Tarkin, Vader has to say
no, because
it.
they keep calling battle station. Don't they keep calling it
Yeah.
battle station?
They've got to say it somewhere. This is. I feel horrible saying that. I don't know for sure, but
I don't think they do.
they say it in Force Awakens several times.
and they do in Return of the Jedi, don't they?
Probably.
It's
probably
yeah.
mentioned
He
over
says,
intercom or something like
he's,
that.
yeah, remember Lando? Well, at least Lando says.
Oh, that Death Star.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that thing's operational. Yeah,
But
there you go.
they don't say it in A New Hope. I don't think they refer it to as
It's probably mentioned somewhere. Like
they call it battle station.
like
At least Tarkin says the full power of this battle station.
yeah. Anyways,
That's no moon.
yeah.
It's a Death Star. No.
How did that just came to me? Anyways, it's I was equally surprised.
Yeah, because even when Dodonna is like plans of the battle station, it's like they don't call it Death Star. See, wouldn't they call it Death Star there if she knew it was
They would have.
Death Star? Unless Rogue One finds out, but no one else does.
And that kind of brings me to another point of the trailer that I talked with Cody and Russ at work today about it. Because in the trailer we see the Death Star use its weapon on Jedha.
Yes.
Okay.
Which contradicts somewhat.
Well, let's talk about this then, because I don't think it does contradict.
I mean, I'm sure they have an explanation, or you guys.
Yeah, because
found out.
we're talking about it, and Cody's like, how are they going to explain that? Like, blowing up Jeddah and all that stuff. Like they don't know that that's supposed to happen in A New Hope and all that kind of stuff. And I said, true, but I don't think Jeddah gets blown up
I don't think it does either.
because I don't think it's fully operational. I don't think it's at its full power. The Death Star at this point, because that's when we think of Tarkin in A New Hope. He says, the full power of this battle station. It's fully operational.
But he does say, "I've decided to test this station's destructive power on your home planet
Yeah.
of Alderaan."
But-
so he says
yeah.
test.
Yes.
That looks like they tested on Jeddah.
Right, but again, I don't think it. I think that was like a very premature kind of a test. I don't think it's not full power yet. I think that's the whole point.
I agree with that, but a test is still a test.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
you test
Yeah.
unless it's another test. You know, because I'm going to test this again.
Yeah.
On your home planet of Alderaan.
Yeah,
Now here's the thing.
Yeah.
Now, Tarkin obviously isn't involved in the Jeddah decision, right? I mean, we've kind of agreed
he's not there.
that he's not there yet.
Right.
That Krennic is the one kind of in charge of this for some reason now, even though in the novel that I read with Tarkin, that he is in charge of the Death Star getting fully operational. So maybe he is there, or maybe he's not there at this point in time. I don't know. Because it seems like when we get to A New Hope that he has been there. Unless, like you said,
Like we talked about.
like we talked about,
Just walks right on in.
that first scene, that's him arriving.
Yeah. But
And he's sitting where Krennic was sitting.
It's very likely. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, here's an empty seat. Oh,
His
here we
body
go.
could be laying there next to the chair.
And Vader's like, I just snapped his neck.
Yeah. There you go, Tarkin.
But no, I can kind of read
So
into
that's a
it.
little that's a little that's the only
it's a
part.
stretch. It's a
I mean,
stretch.
I agree with you in a
Yeah.
sense that Jeddah, I don't think
I don't think
it
it's
doesn't
destroyed.
blow up
No.
because Alderaan didn't take that long to
Yeah, it just explodes.
yeah, it just
Straight up
explodes. So it's not as powerful
Right.
for sure. But the fact that he does say, I've decided to test the destructive power, I think I got that right,
Yeah, I think
of this
that's
battle
right.
station on your home planet of
Yeah.
Alderaan. So that sounds like they've never even turned the weapon on before.
It does sound like that. I'm sure that was the initial intention.
Correct.
For Star Wars, but yeah, now
That's why I'm surprised to see that.
yeah
with Jeddah.
absolutely.
I mean, I am surprised. Now, it'd be different to me if it didn't come from the Death Star. Like if they had the laser weapon and they were testing that, but then they showed it, you know, that part where the disc is going in. So they've tested it somewhere else, like or tested that part on Jeddah, and then brought it to the Death Star to.
That's a good point.
Then that would make sense to me. Testing the weapon is one issue.
That's a very good point.
But that clearly shows that the Death Star is there.
That's what I'm saying. Because gosh, there's a lot of explanation. Because how can the Death Star be so mobile in this movie if it's going from Jeddah to Scarif?
It's got hyperdrives on it.
It does, but like it's moving. Like people have got to see it.
I totally agree with that too.
Like it's just completely secret. No one knows about it.
Yeah, I agree with that too, and I agree with again, like we saw Rebels when they showed up at Geonosis and it's not there.
Yeah.
They don't know about it. In Tarkin, it explains in Tarkin, spoiler, sorry, that it started at Geonosis. That's at the end of episode 3. And I think it was there for like 5 or 6 years when Tarkin took place. And at the end, it moved somewhere else. So they had the hyperdrive or whatever installed first, in a sense. So what I don't know, obviously, is where it went from between Tarkin and this movie. So I guess the plan is, because the way they hid, the way it explained in Tarkin, the way they hid the construction of it was all of these, just all the parts and material and everything that was made for it came from several different systems.
Yeah.
Like it never was manufactured in one area, so it didn't raise suspicion of what they were building.
Yeah.
They just thought it was just parts for ships or capital ships and stuff like that. So Tarkin was in charge. Now, again, though, I'm not sure it's possible that none of the Imperials even knew what was going on necessarily, except the ones, because he said it was super secret.
Yeah,
I mean, they blindfolded him. Tarkin, they said I think he said something like they never. Oh, actually, I think it was they never told him where he was going when Episode 3 happened at the end, where obviously he knew he was at Geonosis when he got there, but they didn't tell him where he was going. So it is under extreme secrecy, but you're right. At this point it's jumping. Well, see, at this point, I guess people are finding out about it right now. I guess.
Yeah,
You know.
and we're probably days before. And this movie might take place literally days before A New Hope.
Oh, Yes,
Leading
no,
up
no,
to-
no, I
leading up
totally
to-
think so.
leading up to
It is the
seconds.
next day, yeah,
Yeah.
or the day
So
before, or something
the
like
amount
that.
of time, like the information probably doesn't spread that much in the amount of time across the entire galaxy. Like, because we also talked about that at work today. Like, at this, if they see the Death Star do this to Jeddah, how do they not know about it by the time A New Hope happens? I'm thinking, well, again, it's probably because it's such a short amount of time. They kind of do know about it, but it hasn't gone around maybe to high command or whatever you want to call. So
Yeah. But you've got to admit, though, when we've kept hearing this dialogue in the early trailers from Mon Mothma, a weapons test is imminent.
yeah,
Now, you've got to assume that test was going to be the Alderaan shot.
or just
That's what I thought. Like they're hearing a test is imminent, so they've got to find the plans, and that's what happens, right? I mean, Leia gets the plans, but then the test comes, and it's Alderaan.
Well, unless-
that's kind of what I was thinking. The
Well,
whole
they
time.
didn't plan on Alderaan the whole time until they
You're right.
found out about Liz. Maybe the test is Jeddah. 'Cause I don't know why what would have triggered them to destroy Jeddah in the first
Do they
place.
change Tarkin's line in A New Hope?
Oh my gosh!
I mean, seriously though, at some point you may run into. I mean, I know that the story group, that's what they're there for, right?
Yeah.
They're supposed to have these. There's no way that they could have let that go and not realize that. You know what I mean? Like,
there's an explanation.
There's
going to be an
definitely an
explanation. We're trying to figure it out before we see the movie.
I mean, I agree with you in a sense that maybe it is the it's Krennic, because that's the thing too, is like if it is days, like literally the day before New Hope, or there's no way Tarkin doesn't know about that test unless it was a premature Krennic test.
Yeah.
And that's what pisses Vader off.
That's a perfectly awesome explanation.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He comes in
Yeah.
and Tarkin finally shows up.
Absolutely.
And he's like, look, it wasn't ready. We'll do a real test when you're
Yeah.
telling me this place is fully operational. So
That's very good.
that made sense to me right there. I feel like that's what Pablo and Lidlin would say to me,
Yeah.
No. But, that's, I can see that being an explanation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that truly could be what does Krennic in. Because someone could be Emperor, Tarkin could be saying, do not do anything
Yeah.
to draw attention to us. Because that's the thing too, is like you said, if they do that, people got to know about it.
Yeah.
And they're like,
That's
look at
that's
this
the-
thing,
that's
the
the
Death
problem.
Star. And that's got to be that meeting, around when they finally
Yeah.
see the picture of it. It's like, if they have this thing, what chance do we have? You know what I mean? Man, we're predicting the entire movie right here.
Yeah.
So it's all coming together in a sense.
But that was I feel like a pretty big plot point for the trailer to reveal.
Oh, yeah.
Like we
Yes.
assumed it was going to happen because we saw the shots of Jeddah getting destroyed, but we didn't know if it was just Star Destroyers blasting the place or the Death Star.
or honestly, you could make an argument that just some gravitational pull of the Death Star caused that
some new
instability
thing.
of the
That's
planet.
that would that
Because
that's a cool thing that they're
it didn't
talking
look
about.
like an explosion necessarily. It just looked like it was like
Everything's yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't know.
No, it's true.
Because again, you think of Alderaan, it didn't look like, or it didn't take its time like
Yeah.
that to get destroyed, right? It just
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what maybe the Death Star coming next to it, and
That would've been cool.
Started some,
It
some,
has. I mean, scientifically, yes, it should.
yeah, absolutely. Especially that shot where it's like above the horizon.
Yeah, it's a moon
It's like
next to
right
a planet.
next to it.
Yeah,
with all that water
The
and
tidal
scale.
waves.
Yeah.
Insane.
And,
high
yeah.
tide, low tide.
But of course, they can make some. It's got a force
Sure.
field shield around,
Yeah.
so maybe that doesn't
It
affect
blocks
it.
the.
I think
gravitational pull.
the best explanation I remember when it was the episode of Rebels just a couple weeks ago where the Kanan goes out in space.
Yeah.
Remember that part? And
He goes outside. And
they asked him about that on Rebels.
They
Recon.
did. Mhm.
What, do you remember what he said? He said something like,
he's only out there for like 20 seconds. or
"Well,
something
no,
like that,
in the
and-
beginning, he's like, we
that's
don't
right, we
really
don't.
think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's
you
like-
know,
we've never.
it's space. You know, it's like
we've never. Yeah,
the law of physics out in
thousand-
space. It's like,
yeah,
come
It's
on,
Star Wars.
there's
no.
flying ships and
explode. Well, when a ship explodes, there's fire. You know, people have always complained about that. It's like, why is there fire? There's no oxygen in space.
Yeah, see, they don't think about that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
whatever. Who cares?
Imagine if they just showed it breaking and
Yeah.
it wouldn't. No.
Like, did you ever watch the show Firefly?
So that's true. So like the Death Star when it first blows up, there wouldn't be any fire.
I mean, you could say like oxygen on the planet. There's enough oxygen on the planet dispersing to create the fire.
very
That's
true.
kind of what I've always said. But like in the shows like Firefly, you know, whenever they do space battles, it's completely silent. Like the lasers don't make noise.
Really?
Nothing when they show outside the dogfights, it's completely silent because that's how it would be in space. And you know, Interstellar actually did a little bit of that too. So that's how it would be. It's just
That's boring.
It's not as cool. Yeah, as hearing that.
Yeah, you don't even think
TIE
about
fighter
that.
sound.
I guess the Death Star obviously does create oxygen. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously because they're breathing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Whatever. It's come on.
but no,
Star Wars.
the trailer itself, though, I'm again, there's a good couple lines in there, but it didn't really. It didn't tell us anything we didn't already know necessarily,
New shot of Vader though.
which is very weird.
It's a weird shot. It's like he's
His hand looks like it's like stuck or something.
which again it looks like he just got done force choking somebody. Maybe probably Krennic, but I'm telling you it's gonna happen. And that scene when he walks on that platform, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Krennic in the foreground. Oh, it's so cool. But yeah. It looks good. I like it. It's a good trailer.
Yeah, I think I like the shot of the. I guess it's a kyber crystal around her neck.
Yes, it is. Definitely.
That's awesome.
That's. I mean,
This
there's
is
a
a big
lot
one.
of a lot of beautiful shots in that trailer. It's gonna be.
Oh.
Cinematography's gonna be great.
I really again, but the big thing about that trailer, what I was getting to was when I first started talking was the second trailer
Yeah.
and this one. It's that part of that theme song, the part where it's the part where they do the call sign in this one. You know what I'm talking about? Like
The part of the music.
the part of the music.
Yeah.
Like I want to play it actually. I want to so people could hear what I'm talking about. But oh shoot, hold on. I want to blow it up here.
Does that remind you of some of the other trailers, or
International trailer. No, it's just everybody knows what I'm talking about, but it's hard
Yeah.
for some reason. I'm starting to have a hard time explaining it, but it's the part of the, and it was in.
What chance do we have? Rebellions are built on hope. I want to help. We'll need a team.
So
Was the fight. There was a 97.6%
right here,
chance of
right here.
failure. He means well.
Cargo shuttle, what's your call sign?
Yeah.
Rogue. Rogue One.
May the force be with us.
Right here, that's this right here.
yeah, yeah,
Power that we are dealing with is immeasurable.
Like that little take right there,
Yeah.
that little different tone right there of that part of that music right there is, which is in the second trailer as well. It just gives me chills, man.
Yeah.
It really does. Like it hits me emotionally, and because it's so familiar, you know, it's kind of, I think it's the.
it's almost got an Imperial March.
It's almost
to it.
Imperial March type, but it's more, more heroic.
Yeah,
And I don't know. I just that when I first heard that in the other trailer, that's what really tugged at me. And then it does in there, and it's like that is just the perfect melody for this. And I mean, watching this truly, we put out that poll. The first poll we put out was, could this movie be your favorite Star Wars movie? And I'm telling you, the more and more I watch it, it could be for me.
think it's possible.
It really could be for me. Like this could be the one where I walk out of and I actually think that I can literally watch that over and over and over and over. I mean, I watched the other ones like that too already, but I mean, like when I go to watch a Star Wars movie, I pop this one in. It's like I'm really thinking that could happen.
Yeah.
So so I'm stoked. I can't wait. We've already got, and don't mean to make people jealous, but we've already got a theater booked for this on Friday afternoon for all of us that work with us. And of course, but as soon as the tickets go on sale, we'll buy Thursday night.
Yeah.
So we'll make our rounds that weekend, watching the movie. Yeah. Sure, I'll watch it on Saturday, on Sunday. Yeah. Well, are you gonna go Friday night again? At all?
I'm gonna go with work.
I know, but not Friday night. You went Friday night. I thought last year, right?
Yeah, I did. Thursday. I did Thursday and I did Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did two consecutive days. So I'll do Thursday night.
I guess I'll probably do Friday and then Saturday. I might go Saturday.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Heck. Anyway, so yes, the trailer was fantastic. But moving on. So we have Rebels. So brand new episode of Rebels came out this past Saturday. I'm actually really digging Saturday nights. Yeah. It was Monday, I think, last year, right? Was it Monday nights?
Was it Monday? I don't know.
I think it was Monday night. Or Sunday, maybe it was Sunday. Or it wasn't Saturday.
It was a weird day.
Anyway, Saturday nights. This one being more about the Mandalorians again, called Imperial Super Commandos. Now, this brought back 2 characters from past canon material. One being from Rebels, which was Fenn Rau, right?
Fenn Rau, yep.
Who was in the first episode of Mandalore, where Sabine and
it's
Kanan and them were there.
Yeah.
And part of the whole Death Watch thing, and they're fighting Death Watch. Concord Dawn. Yeah, Concord Dawn. You're right. Yeah. It's that base there, right? So they capture him, and he's being imprisoned by the rebels. But then they were allowed to start using that base, I guess, or the pass through. Sorry, but then now they can't. Something's wrong, so they got to find out what's going on. So they go there. At least Sabine and Ezra and Chopper. So they run into a Mandalorian by the name of Gar Saxon, and Gar Saxon is not a he's unfamiliar to the animated world, TV world, but he was actually in the first canon storyline novel of this new canon, which was called
Son of
Dathomir, Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir. And that was the last series for Dark Horse that Dark Horse put out before Marvel took over again the comic series. So it's a little strange that it's Dark Horse still, but it is canon,
right?
Because it was a Clone Wars series that never made it to air. That had Darth Maul with all these Mandalorians and all these Black Sun guys on part of his. It was actually Darth Maul running Mandalore. Right. Now, and then we know later how that kind of concludes with Ahsoka and Rex, right? So anyway, Gar Saxon was part of Maul's Mandalorian crew. I guess after his defeat or whatever, he came back there and is leading some Mandalores here. Overall, I thought it was a very, very cool episode. Yep. Really liked just all aspects of a lot of action in this one. Kind of showed Sabine and Ezra kind of working together. A little bit more about Sabine's family and kind of her history and heritage and all that stuff. So, I liked it a lot.
I definitely liked it. Sabine is just awesome. She kicks a lot of butt in this. Like she and whoops Gar Saxon. There was hardly even a fight.
Right.
They made her especially to be a really formidable opponent. I think she's really good. I just want to see more of her, more see her kind of take on more responsibility on the team and do more, on the missions and all that stuff. So I really like the episode. Ezra was pretty cool. I kind of feel like Ezra could have done more though too in some of this stuff. Like sometimes I feel like he holds back in using the Force when he should.
I was about to say, I was thinking that when they got surrounded by them, and I was like, wait a minute,
Force push everybody.
you can't just like stop the bullets and then just push everybody back. I don't know. Yeah, I was
something. I thought
I'd agree with that. I was a little strange by that,
but it was cool. I loved the whole sequence of them flying through the canyons. That was pretty awesome. Chopper can fly high up in the sky and far with his little jetpack he's got. Like I didn't know. I thought it was more just like hovering over things, but he actually goes up pretty high.
That's like R2.
Yeah, it's
I could fly.
It's pretty cool. I really enjoyed it.
And even fly with Ezra.
Yeah, he can
which
hold
is
the
like,
weight.
why didn't he do that in the first place?
Yeah, I know.
Instead of making Sabine carry him.
That's fine.
No, I liked that episode. I guess that was kind of. I think that's what we're going to get a little bit more of is Sabine and Ezra. I mean, they're the ones kind of focused on.
They're on the poster.
So anyway, there's that. Is there another episode this week coming? I think yes, there is.
Yes.
It's Thrawn. Thrawn's involved in this next episode. And I think the name is called Iron Squadron. So Iron Squadron is this Saturday, featuring more Thrawn.
Good.
More Thrawn.
Lacking Thrawn.
Okay, so what's next?
Well, in terms of
We can
news,
talk let's talk comics real fast.
Yeah.
All I got to talk about is that really. I'm catching up. I got to get them over to you, Case, but catching up on some comics. Darth Vader came to a close. 25. The only ongoing series right now, I think, are Star Wars and Poe Dameron. There's a lot of new series coming out here soon. Dr. Aphra. Who was featured in the Vader comics, is getting her own series here starting, I think, either next month or in January. So obviously the comics are still going, but I really, really do like how all of these aren't ongoing.
Yeah.
I really do like that because unlike, like traditional Marvel with the superhero stuff and DC where you've got 12 or 15 ongoing series, and it's hard to. This is very cool.
Yeah, and they don't overstay their welcome.
Yes,
series. So.
They're really just short stories. They had a Leia series, they had a Lando series, they had a Chewbacca series. They just finished up the Han series. Obviously the Star Wars one you want to see keep going.
Yeah,
they did a long Vader series. So. And you got all these other characters coming out. So I think they did Obi-Wan and Anakin, which was really good. They did the history and the origin of Kanan. Now that one was that was like 12 or 13 issues. So they went a little bit deeper with that one. So anyway, I like what they're doing. I want to see more of those. I kind of hope they do more with Ahsoka, maybe with the comic series. They kind of tell a little bit more of that story. But overall good. I'm catching up with those, so we'll definitely follow up with some more. We'll get caught up and follow with some more reviews of those. Yeah. But now let's get back to something we can talk about now too, because we're diving in is some novels.
Yes,
because we're doing some audiobook.
Trying to catch up the fast way.
Yes. So I am reading or listening to A New Dawn.
Yeah.
And you are?
I'm doing Battlefront Twilight Company.
Awesome. So what do you think so far?
I like it so far. It kind of took me a while to get into it, just because the nature of the audiobook. It's better when I'm driving or doing yard work, like raking leaves at this time of year. Kind of to listen to it, because I've been trying to do other work like stuff on the computer, editing or whatever, and it's hard for me to focus on the details of the audiobook while doing like other
Right.
things that are that intensive. So it took me a while to actually get into it, but now I'm good. It's like a 14-hour audiobook, and I'm got 5 hours left in it. It's pretty cool. There's no Jedi so far. It's like, you know how people talked about how Rogue One was going to be like the Saving Private Ryan of Star Wars, like war, all out war battles, no Jedi. I feel like it hasn't really lived up to that specific expectation, just because it seems to be. I don't think it's going to be as gritty as everybody said it was going to be initially. I feel like it's going to be a little bit lighter. I don't know. We'll see. But this book, Battlefront, is gritty, and it is kind of dark for a Star Wars story. You know, there's blood. They talk about slitting throats sometimes. It gets violent. And
Now, when does it take place?
it spans some years. It starts off right after A New Hope, but at this point, I think I'm somewhere in Empire. Like we've gone through the Battle of Hoth.
So there's Battle Hoth elements in it?
Yeah, there's a
Sweet.
sequence of Battle Hoth which Vader's in that, and it's really cool because he just kind of runs into the main character kind of runs into Vader on Hoth on Echo Base, and it's wild what happens. But this company this Twilight company that you're following, they are very isolated from the rest of the rebellion. They're kind of on the outer rim, doing these important but kind of rough grunt missions. These like small scale kind of things like skirmishes, infiltrating, liberating certain cities and towns, all that kind of stuff. They don't really come across Star Destroyers. It's smaller capital ships and smaller stormtrooper squads, that kind of thing. But it's awesome. They get involved with a lot of stuff, because it was only a rare occasion that the main character and these other guys got sent to Echo Base for a little briefing kind of thing, and then they just suddenly the Battle of Hoth happens, and they get mixed up in that, and then they manage to escape. But it's cool. The main character is definitely not a typical Star Wars character. He's not really 100% behind the cause of the rebellion, but he's very loyal to the Twilight Company that he's a part of. Very much of a soldier mentality. I'm not sure where it's gonna go. Like,
Is it gonna end on Endor?
I don't know. I'm not sure how it's gonna end. It's just I don't know what the.
Is there? Do you find out why it's called Twilight Company?
Well, that's the name. That's the company's name. That's their.
Yeah, but where? There's no
why
origin.
why it's Twilight. Yeah. I can't think.
No,
of it.
okay.
They probably explained it again. I probably missed some details, but the main plot is that they liberate this town, and they kind of imprison this Governor Chalice. She's had some very deep history with the Empire. She was an advisor to another character in A New Dawn, and since she's been captured, she kind of let herself be captured because she's kind of defecting from the Empire, and so she's kind of helping the rebellion. She knows a lot of trade routes, a lot of stuff like that to help them kind of with little battles. A lot of things happen, but now it's just at the point in the novel, it's almost like, what do we do next? Kind of with the company, like it's like they're being killed off by the Empire. They keep getting attacked by the Empire, and they don't know what else to do. So it's an interesting part in the novel. I'm not sure where it's going to go. I'm not sure where it's headed, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm very eager to see what happens next. The narrator for the book is phenomenal, and that's what's really selling it to me, because he's a great voice actor. He's done so many voices in here. It's almost, I'm thinking like it's almost different actors, because he's really good at it. But really cool. I recommend it.
I am. I'm in deep on A New Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Got about. I think I'm in chapter 32 or so, and there's like 58 chapters in this book. It's actually a really big book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's actually as big as Battlefront, but it's definitely bigger than Tarkin's. So I got to admit, not been a huge fan of this book. Yeah. And, I'm obviously, now that I'm listening to several of them in a row, especially I did Ahsoka really fast, Tarkin really fast. Both of those were really good, and this one is, and it's not anything to do with the narration of it or the production of it, but I think what I'm finding out now is I really do think it has to do with the writing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think A New Dawn took really long to get going, like really long.
Yeah.
Like you didn't really even see or hear Hera for a long time. It was really about setting up the villains of this book. Count Vidian, at the time, is Captain Sloane, which apparently is in
she's in
the Aftermath books,
Yeah.
right? You know, and then you hear you kind of meet some other characters, and you kind of get. It just felt like it took so long to set up the situation versus like Tarkin. Man, I mean, the first chapter it just took off, and you knew what the situation was and what the book was going to be about. This one is just. I'm still not sure. I mean, you know, these events have happened in there, but I'm still not sure exactly what the main story of this is, besides Kanan and Hera meeting for the first time. You know, I get that, but the what they're doing and what's going on, and there's not really a purpose yet, and which kind of will lead into what I know you wanted to talk about. But but I'm at the turning point in the book where it's gonna, you know, I got about 5 hours left. It's getting to the end. So we'll see how it goes, but right now has not been as exciting or haven't been as interested in it as I was of Tarkin.
Yeah,
like I couldn't wait to get in the car and listen to Tarkin. This one, I'm putting on it, but it's hard to stay with it a little bit. But anyway, I don't know if you mentioned it, but Catalyst is coming out the 15th as well.
Exactly. Yep.
So I'm trying to get this book done by then.
Yeah.
Because I want to get that going right away. All right. So real quick, I guess before we get into your topic here, I wanted to mention a couple, because we've been doing our poll Mondays the last couple of weeks, each week. So we haven't talked about the last couple ones since we didn't do a show last week, which was... Let's see. We did the Rogue One. Did we do the character one?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we did, because we recorded after that.
What was the?
So we didn't do the Halloween one. Mm-hmm. So the Halloween one was, of course, we tweeted out ITF poll. Which character from The Force Awakens did you see most on Halloween?
Yeah.
60% of you said Rey. So everybody saw Rey more. And then this past week, I thought it was a very interesting one. Did you see that? I was like...
Yeah, I couldn't answer it.
Why? Because you did?
I can't think of an answer.
Yeah. Which Rebel /Resistance droid is your favorite? Overwhelmingly... It was R2-D2.
Yeah.
73%, which I kind of thought BB-8 was going to win that one now.
Well, that was my conflict. I like R2-D2 probably is like probably my favorite.
Yeah.
But BB-8 is a very close second, because I really fell in love with BB-8.
Yeah, BB-8's nice. BB-8's good. Okay, so what would you mentioned something. Yeah, that was interesting.
I was talking a couple weekends ago with a buddy of mine, Adam Horn, about the books. We were just kind of talking about what he likes about it, what books that we liked, or that kind of thing. And he brought up a point where that made me think is essentially this new canon of novels. I'm afraid that they will not really have the impact in the Star Wars world that the expanded universe did have when that was unofficial canon. Excuse me. What I mean by that is that in the old EU, the legend stuff now, you got so much story, so many stories that just shattered the Star Wars world. Like, we were introduced to Han's kids. Then we had the death of some of Han's kids. We had Ben Skywalker. The death of Chewie. The all this stuff, and death of Mon Mothma, the Chancellor after her, and the death of that chancellor, and the New Jedi Order, Yuuzhan Vong, all this stuff happening. These major characters, Mara Jade, all this stuff that really changed the game. We have yet to get something like that with these Star Wars novels, I think. I mean, there are some novels that probably will, I don't know, I can't think, but there's might be some novels that change the game for, I don't even think so, for even Rebels or even the animated shows. I think, this is what Buddy and I were talking about, we're afraid that the books now are basically only serving the purpose to fill in gaps of between the movies and TV shows, and that they are not ever really going to be able to change the game that the old EU did. Like, we'll never probably get an introduction to a major character like Mara Jade in the books, like the wife of Luke Skywalker in a book between episodes 6 and 7, if that ever did happen.
Right.
We'll never get something like that. I mean, I hope I'm explaining this.
Yes,
well
yes,
enough.
you are.
But like so far with Ahsoka, nothing really crazy happened there.
Correct.
Lost Stars, nothing. I mean, big events happened, but they were events from the movies, and it's just these characters were just kind of going along the movie timeline, and they had their big events, but nothing to change. One character was the pilot that crashed the Star Destroyer in Jakku, but it's not like, it's nothing big happened, nothing crazy happened, in the books to affect the movies at all. Like, I don't think we'll never be introduced to a. I mean, I don't know. Like, do you think we'll ever be introduced to a character in the books that will show up in the movies? Like Saw Gerrera is different because he was a character in the Clone Wars that introduced to the movies.
Yes.
I mean, we did get Coruscant from the old EU.
But again, I don't think Saw Gerrera is not a major character in Rogue One, right?
Right.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. What I think you're saying is that it doesn't look like the novels, that at least the ones that have been coming out, aren't as impactful on the canon as the EU apparently people thought the EU was, right? I mean, Chewbacca died in the EU, correct?
Yeah.
Will we get a death of a major character in a novel?
Yeah,
probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the main reason for that, in my opinion, is, at least right now, there's nothing. There hasn't been a novel that has come out in the new canon that goes beyond anything we haven't seen on screen yet. For what I mean by that is, right now, episode 7 is the furthest movie out as far as time. There's nothing beyond that, right? Episode 8 is coming, and episode 9, and if they never do a 10, 11, 12, but if they continue in the novels beyond that, then I think something major can happen if there's no plans for movies after that timeline. I don't know. Because that's what we ran into with the EU, right?
Yeah.
There were no plans for movies after 6, so the characters were free to do what they want. So I do agree with you, though, because I agree with you that in everything we're reading right now, for me, it's been Ahsoka, it's been Tarkin, and now A New Dawn. And everything I've read so far, even through A New Dawn, has no relevance on anything else that I'm watching or reading in the comics. There's cool connections, in A New Dawn. He talks about Master Balaba.
Oh, Kanan's master?
Yes.
Yeah.
He talks about her, and of course, what he's talking about is in the comic that you read, with the Clone Wars turning on them and Balaba getting killed. I mean, there's references to it, to each other. But again, anybody out there that hasn't read a comic or read a novel and is just watching the movies and the TV shows, I mean, I hate to say it, you're not missing anything. You're just not getting as much information as the rest of us that are reading it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that
It does, yeah. It
because
helps.
I mean, think about it. Years before, I never read that much of the EU. I read very, very little of it.
Yeah.
So I didn't have all that knowledge of it that most people did that read it. Unfortunately, now it doesn't matter. but you know that's what it is now. It's like if you're not reading that stuff, you just don't have as much knowledge about what's truly canon and a little bit more about some of these characters than you would if you want to know how Kanan and Hera met, then you read A New Dawn. And again, you get that part of it, but the story that's going on, you could go on and not know that story, you know?
Yeah. And it's almost like if they did a 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 years ago, you know, and if they wanted to keep the EU as part of it, like they would have had to have had the Solo twins. They would have had to have done this. They would have to fit themselves into all this in this mold. It's like I don't think we'll ever get like a birth of a major character in the books, you know, that will have to be featured into. I think like the origin of major characters will never happen in books. Like the introduction of major characters will never happen in a book, I guess is or major events even so. Like they'll always come as backstories. They'll always come as after the fact. I feel like Catalyst, is,
like Thrawn,
exactly. And Catalyst is going to be a huge backstory. That Pablo Hidalgo's even kind of said, like, you know, it would really help if you read this before Rogue One,
right? But
I'm sure you'll be fine without reading it,
right? I get it, and I don't want to. And I think both of us would agree that we're not trying to discourage you from reading the canon novels and the comics because they're very entertaining.
Oh yeah,
especially the comics. I feel like the comics, at least in my experience so far, even though there are some, just like the novels, I think there's comics that are really good, and there's some of them you can, you know, like I wasn't really fond of the Chewbacca series, but the Lando series was awesome. Leia was okay. The Vader series was awesome. The Kanan series I thought was really good. So you're going to run into those, obviously. You know, Shattered Empire was really good, too.
Yes.
But you're going to run into, obviously, hit or misses with either or. But I don't know. If you're like me and Casey, I want as much Star Wars as I can get. You know? And just knowing that it's all connected is what makes me read them, you know? So I think, I think you're right though. I remember when you brought this up to me, it's like, yes, I got that sense with Ahsoka and with Tarkin that now with Tarkin though, I'll tell you what, Tarkin, as far as the story in the novel was okay because overall it was about an Imperial that was defecting in a sense. Not really joining the rebellion, but just fighting against the Empire a little bit. But there was a lot of information in there about the Senate, about Palpatine, about his relationship with Palpatine, that, like we talked about with some things, changed the way you view Episode 4.
Right, and that's I think that's where I guess the biggest power is going to come from this, because the comics has done it too. The Star Wars comic, you know, the whole the revelation that Boba found out about Skywalker and told Vader.
See,
that's a big.
That's big. That's big. So there's big moments, and I think there will be big moments.
Yeah.
But significant storyline changes really that affect the movies or a TV show. That's kind of what we're talking about here, right? Like something that you'll read in a novel or in a comic that's like, wow, that's going to affect the next Star Wars movie. I don't think we're ever going to get that.
Probably not.
You know what I mean?
I mean, well,
and it is unfortunate,
Yeah.
in a sense, because you want those aha moments in the book just as much as you do in the films.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, yes, some of these characters that they're introducing in this, they're introducing new characters, but they're irrelevant because you don't really know who they are, and all you have is them as, Now Thrawn is obviously gonna be interesting because you just get more of his backstory and stuff like that. But again, like with Thrawn, how do you insert him majorly
Yeah.
in the timeline between 3 and 4 without contradicting what's going on? You know what I mean? Like because even in Tarkin's book, he mentions, because that book came way before they talked about. Well, I don't know that for sure, but way before Thrawn was introduced in the Rebels, right? It talks about Tarkin. It talks in Tarkin how the Imperials don't have any alien species in the military, right? I mean, so either Thrawn started very, very low and no one cared and knew about him, which is quite possible, and he just rose through the ranks really fast. I don't know, but
Yeah. Because you have my thing is too, like, you have 30 years between 6 and 7, plenty of time for something major to happen with these characters, like, something like that. But we'll probably never get that in a book. I don't know. I'm getting through Bloodline right now. That's kind of the only book I'm reading that takes place between 6 and 7 that I've ever actually, any material I've ever read. So I'm curious to see what happens during that. Aftermath as well. I'm reading Aftermath. But, I just don't know if it's going to be earth shattering, but we'll see.
Well, and again, characters in those books.
Yeah.
If they show up in 7, then nothing's going to happen to them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is more origin story based, I think, and
Or just it's also like a small scale
side
event.
stories. Yeah, side stories that are somewhat irrelevant to the cause, but in the end, cool stories. So hopefully they're just good enough that you're entertained by them, and that it's just adds more of your Star Wars knowledge. Really, that's really it.
Yep.
Curious to see wonder how everybody else feels about that, and I wonder how much do you think of how much do you think of the fan base out there is actually reading all the novels and comics?
I would think there's quite a bit.
Like half or more than half?
I
don't think it's more than half.
If you're pulling from the same type of fan that read Legends, that read the EU, if they're not angry about it.
I think a lot of them are.
But I mean, it's like this new generation of Star Wars fans that are getting into these kind of books now. I think there'd be quite a bit. At least I hope.
I'd be surprised if it was over 50%. Because I just think there's not purists, but traditionalists almost, in a sense, that still think that the Star Wars movies is it, and some obviously just the original trilogy,
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of those out there that are just about the movies, because as you've discovered kind of with Clone Wars, there was a lot of Star Wars fans that never watched Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like animated. I'm not going to watch an animated show.
I've had to defend even Rebels.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing is, if Star Wars fans just started watching it, they'd be blown away.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on, wrap this up, get into some canon material here. Case, what do you got?
Another quick one, a little short one. It's a weapon today. I'm reading from DK's book, the Ultimate Star Wars. I'm sorry, you're reading from Absolutely. Ultimate Star Wars: Characters, Creatures, Locations, Technology, Vehicles by DK. And today, I'm talking about the Adventurer Slug Thrower Rifle. A little bit different than the Tusken Raider Sniper Rifle. If I several weeks ago or about a month or so ago, I profiled the Tusken Raider sniper rifle, which was a slug thrower weapon. Like it's not so much of a blaster bolt; it's more of a they're solid shots, but they're enveloped in energy instead of blaster bolts, instead of pure energy. So it's actually a solid thing that's hitting you. So this is similar. And the picture in the book here, the rifle is being held by Aura Singh. And if you know who she is, she was actually in episode one of the movies, and she was really in the Clone Wars. So this is like one of her main weapons. It's a projectile rifle with excellent aim over long distances. It manufactures Zerka arms. Zerka is actually a very well-known company in the Star Wars world. If you played the Knights of the Old Republic games, read the books, Zerka is a corporation that's thrown around a lot. The model is Adventurer. The type is slug thrower rifle. The Zerka Adventurer, it floods the chamber, it says, with a rich oxidizer as it detonates its shell, giving the projectile added punch and extra range. The weapon can be easily dismantled for concealed transport. A little side note here, too, it hits its targets from up to 450 meters, 1,476 feet. Very far. So it is basically essentially a slug thrower, a sniper rifle, like the Tusken Raider sniper rifle, but it's just got an extra kick to make it go a little further. And Aura Singh uses it. She's awesome. I wish there was more of her in the live-action movies. She has a very cool design. But she's also in the Clone Wars. So if you don't know who Aura Singh is, watch the Clone Wars.
Yes.
She's in it. She's cool.
She's cool. I'll do a quick from absolutely everything you need to know. Since I'm reading A New Dawn, I read it up here on Hera. Just a couple facts about her. Strange but true. If you're watching the show, you would know this, but Hera's father and greatest inspiration, Cham Syndulla, is a reluctant Twi'lek hero. His leadership of the resistance on Ryloth against the Separatists is celebrated in song. Now, I will say that in A New Dawn, he does say Twi'lek.
Yeah, it
Not
goes both
Twi'lek.
ways. There's no official pronunciation.
Now, I didn't know this,
Yeah.
but what are Twi'lek's tentacles for?
Oh,
The two long tentacles that grow from Hera's skull are known as Lekku, or head tails. Super sensitive Lekku can grab and hold things and react to the slightest touch. Never mess with them. A damaged Lek can cause serious harm to a Twi'lek's health. So you would think, like, if she would get tortured, they would damage her. Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's it.
Yeah.
There's more there, but I'll save for later.
Yeah, I liked the episode of Rebels with Thrawn and Hera.
Yes.
Like how he pronounces, he mispronounced everything. I feel like Sham Syndulla or something like that. And and Pablo Hidalgo has gone on record saying, or I think it was Dave Filoni actually, one of them said, Twi'lek, it's either way.
Yeah.
If you want to say it's just
Yeah.
like a dialect kind of thing. It's whatever you want to say. Twi'lek.
Twi'lek.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Versailles.
No, well, that's all different.
Well, it's both.
Sure.
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. Hope you guys have a great, great weekend. As of this day, we're recording this, only 35 days until Rogue One. 35 days. I'm not joking.
Oh.
35 days.
You're almost a month away.
Of course, we will keep talking about that and leading up to, I can't wait, honestly, to do it, but our predictions episode, which we'll probably do a week before.
Yeah.
Because we got so much that
I
we
feel pretty
know
good
about.
already.
I know, I kind of know. And it's again, people might be like, well, of course you know what happens. And you do, but like there's a lot about who lives, who dies.
Yeah.
Where's
Order of events,
Tarkin?
Yeah.
How long's Vader in it?
Yeah.
We don't know any of those questions or answers. So we'll do all that as we lead up to Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So again, another episode of Rebels this weekend. So we'll be back next week, talk about that, as well as all the other news. Go to InsideTheForce.com, subscribe to the podcast. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook. And Casey over there is a Kryptonian1138 on Twitter. I am D Cottingham21 on Twitter. Go check out, remember on Mondays, we run it for 3 days. We'll do the hashtag ITF poll. This coming Monday, we'll put that out there. And if you guys got any suggestions on those, just tweet us at them at Inside the Force to us. We'll put it out there. I think I already got the next one in mind. That's kind of Rogue One-ish. I might hold off on it. But anyway, not going to reveal it.
No.
All right, guys. We appreciate it. For Casey Cooley.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. I fear something terrible has happened.
And it did.
What?
And it did.
Yeah.
All right. Good job, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Again, go to InsideTheForce.com, listen to this podcast, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and TuneIn Radio, and follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Have a great weekend. He's Casey.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave, and may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.